You're clearly very knowledgeable about this. Can you give us an idea? Do you feel comfortable giving us an idea of what kind of revenues an influencer can expect to earn? An influencer who knows what he or she is doing. And someone who would be considering doing this full time, what kind of money would they be expecting to get?
It's very crazy. Usually, influencing is one of the sectors that is not regulated. So you have a very big chance of making all of the money you would want, depending on how you bargain and what you're bringing on the table.
Yeah, so is it 100K, 200K, a million, 5,
no,
10?
Of course, man, you can get into millions. You can get
depends on the client.
Yeah. Even in a week, because you have so many clients. By the way, you might even reach like 10 million in 1 week.
10 million in 1 week?
Yeah, you can reach 10 million even in a month. You might as well. But that depends on what I've talked about, how you sell yourself. If you sell yourself low, you're going to make 50,000 in a month. You get. But if you have a good product that you're selling, you have something, very good platforms that you've profiled very well, definitely you're going to have all of the clients coming to you, and you always call the shots when it comes to the amount of money that you're going to make.
So isn't one of those things where, is it a seasonal thing? Can one expect to earn a steady revenue stream or income from doing influencing? Or is it seasonal where, one day you get one nice deal, a good deal, and then it's going to be a long while before you get another? Is there what you could call job security in influencing?
Yeah. So in this job security, what I've noticed over the years is that very many people always fall out. For example, I'm sure you've been online and you've seen some influencers, I can't really name them, but over time, however good they used to be, like in 2009, 2011, they are off right now. But there's those who have been consistent, and up to 2022, they still have those companies that have been working with them.
Well, isn't the challenge for an influencer and the sustainability of their career as influencers dependent on other ways to which they're engaging with their audiences and building an audience? So I would imagine that, no one just says, oh, I like that influencer because he's posting about this telecom and that beverage or that event. It's like if I view you as just a soundboard for advertisements and announcements, I might lose an interest in you. So as an influencer, do you typically have to mix it up with other content which may be unrelated to the influencing you're doing?
Absolutely.
Because you have to keep people interested.
Yes.
You have to give them a reason to keep following you.
That's right.
Right? And they will not follow you if all they're seeing on your account is, buy this, buy that, buy this,
Absolutely.
go to this shop.
Yes.
So is that an important aspect of it, and how do you manage it?
That's 100% important, because if you look at most of the serious influencers, TLs, they are mostly either events, there may be a product, like once in a while there's, let me say, a telecom which is selling something, or let me say a gas company that is trying to sell something. So you always want to get out of that and then create some other content that is going to get you more followers. By the way, the content of selling products does not really get you so many followers.
Now,
apart from clients,
exactly,
the ones that are interested. So,
and you run the risk of losing your authenticity.
Yes,
because you'll simply be labeled a paid shill.
Yes,
just a PR for companies, and so you will not be convincing in your influencing. You will not be believable, and therefore not impactful. But the challenge,
not really, no. So yes, if you're specifically talking about, let me say, a product that you normally use and it's really like part of you, then it might go beyond you being looked at as an influencer, but as one of the consumers of the product. Let me just give an example of a beer. If you consistently consume a certain beer, even in the bar, even when you just like it passionately, and then a certain brand finds out that you really like this product or this beer of theirs, and then they get you on board. Much as you're influencing, you still like the product. Someone else, trust me, is going to take that specific beer just because you took it, and it won't be about them seeing you as a, let me say, as an influencer for it or anything. They just know you just like that beer. That's it.
Tell me about the challenge of getting started as an influencer and also maintaining relevance. Ugandans typically like following people on social media who have a bit of notoriety, who engage in controversy, drama, fighting, aggressive arguments. These are the people who typically attract a lot of attention and whose posts get a lot of engagement. So if they're like posting political, thoughts or ideas, or let's say they're criticizing the government, or let's say they are making commentary about relationships or gender or all this kind of stuff, don't you run the risk of becoming a bit too controversial in your bid to obtain a following? And how should companies react to the fact that, really deal with the reality that the people who are going to be compelling as influencers may sometimes not be too perfect in terms of how they are perceived? I feel like you take the good with the bad. When I think of many of the powerful voices on social media, so they occasionally cross the line and engage in behavior that may not be the best or most responsible, but it attracts so much attention. And so then that creates the huge following, which they can then leverage into influencing. So imagine I'm a marketing or brand manager of a corporate company, a beer, let's say, and I'm looking at someone to influence my brand and as part of my campaign. And there is this influencer who seems to get a lot of traction. People engage with these topics. They post comments, and he or she gets retweeted a lot. As a company, should I be concerned that my brand might be associated with the more controversial aspects of the influencer I'm engaging?
That's 100% the fear of most of the clients associating with the controversial. In most cases, to the extent which have been extreme, they've even led to some of these contracts of those people being terminated. I've personally seen over time some people's contracts getting terminated because of the mistakes that they did in their personal lives, away from social media, and then the brand sees that, okay, this is not the type of person we want to market our brand, and then they'll have the most recent is one of domestic violence.
Weasel. The allegation.
I didn't want to mention that, but okay. So you most of the brands would definitely be like, you know what, now this person, let's remove them from what we had planned for them. So once as an influencer, you fail to know that at the end of the day, a certain brand or client can decide that they no longer want you on board because of your controversial issues. You start knowing exactly where to be controversial. So you're only controversial when it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Get me? When it makes sense and it would make sense to your client, that's where you'll be controversial.
But here's the irony, is that if I were trying to market something and there happens to be this celebrity embroiled in a controversy over something, some conflict you may be having with a fellow musician, or some drama or some argument or some fallout, and there's this viral trend going where there's beef, I'd want a piece of that. I'd want that guy to be my influencer, because then I would know that it would have my campaign would have high impact, because a lot of people are paying attention to this controversy. Do you not think I run the risk as a marketing manager of losing out on many of those opportunities because maybe I'm too scared of associating with, I'm too scared of the negative aspects of it being, maybe tarnishing my brand? Do you think companies should be cautious about it, or do you think they should be willing to take those risks? What do you think?
There are some risks that are good to take. I remember one brand was talking about women being in the kitchen or something,
Uh-huh.
but it was a thread. You get?
Yes.
After some time, they clarified that actually what we meant something else or something. So as long as you, as a brand, if you or as a social media influencer, if you plan out your content very well, it might come off as extreme. But if you have a very good plan,
you anticipate
how people's feelings, and you say, okay, when this comes in, I'll do this.
You just turn it around and you make it work for you.
Exactly. So you always want to work with such a person.
Wow, that's brilliant. And I think there's more thought that goes into this than most people would acknowledge and appreciate.
Absolutely.
Well, it's definitely a growing field. Are you worried that the field will get a bit too crowded? The more people join in as influencers, will there ever be saturation of influencers? And your cake might end up getting smaller and smaller. Do you worry about that?
Absolutely. Anyone would worry about that. But over the years, let me tell you, every year that you add on is part of your reputation, that you grow as a personal brand, as an influencer. So which is a disadvantage to the person who has just started.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll just come to you maybe to get some knowledge or something like that. But still, you'd still remain as the brand that you built over the years. So the fear that you get out of let me say this market would definitely deteriorate, because I personally believe that once you're selling something good to Ugandans, they'll obviously buy it. Mm-hmm. And the market is also extremely big. As the influencers become many, the market of companies, organizations also continue increasing. So the market is so big for everyone that comes on board. So I definitely welcome anyone who would want to be an influencer. Mm-hmm. But one thing is that if you don't keep yourself, you don't have the morals. Very many people have talked about morals, and it seems like a rhetoric statement, but it's actually important. So you need the morals. You need to do research. You need to keep up to date with whatever is going on. Keep up to date of how apps are changing. So that's what will always keep you up in the game. So even if other influencers have come, you still be on the top of your game.
Well, I want to thank you for sticking around and engaging in this conversation with us here at Influencer Table. It's what we do. We talk to the movers and shakers, the influencers out there that are making a difference and shaping narratives. Over the course of this series, we're going to talk to more influencers and learn more about the field of influencing, in case, for example, you would like to participate in it. I don't know. Is it something I might consider doing? Who knows? Maybe one day I might. Well, Influencers Table is proudly brought to you by Pulse Uganda and your number one station, RX Radio. Catch you on the next one.